What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Today is the 8th of November 2023. Let me clean up, do a little housekeeping right quick. 8th of November 2023. What's going on, everybody? What? I'm already being harassed and the show ain't even got started good. All right, anyway. It's the 8th of November. Everything is everything. I got more here. We're gonna talk about a few things that have been actually came up today because I actually didn't have a show topic till about 8 minutes ago, which is I guess the good part about random thoughts with DVP. This is why I've been needing y'all help, fam. Sometimes I need something to talk about that's gonna get me there, and that's why I got Mo here with me. I ain't sure Trina coming yet. But I saw some things that need to be addressed. But anyway, in the meantime and in between time, I'm always confused about how somebody wants to have a respectful conversation, but 2 comments in, they start name calling. But you want a respectful conversation. And I'm open to talk about almost anything, even though I have been told there are some things that should never be discussed among regular people. And we talked about this 1 or 2 shows ago, the top 3 being sex, religion, and politics, because you have extremists on both sides, and it's hard for common people to have a common ground and respect others' opinions and their thought processes. This makes me wonder, why is it? It lets me know why we can't learn, why we can't have conversations, because the minute somebody disagrees with us, we want to start attacking them like all of a sudden we became sociologists, psychologists, whatever it is. But it leads me to a deeper understanding of how much we want to be sheep herders. We want people to be like us so bad, all the while we're claiming how special and how different we are. And, I don't think like the average person. I don't do this, I don't do that. But you want everybody to think like you. And, it's mind-boggling the amount of people who really want to do this, who don't want to open up their ears and take in information from other people or see how other people live, because we all have a different journey. We all take a different path. My path ain't like Mo's, ain't like Mel's, ain't like Jomo, ain't like Trina. So why would I think their experiences be like mine if none of these things equate? I went to a conference when I was 8th grade, 9th grade maybe, and I told you guys before, one of the thing I got most from it is I heard the lesson he was giving. It was good, but it was, don't judge a man until you walk a mile in his shoes. You have to walk in somebody else's shoes to understand why they do what they do. Whether it makes sense to you or not is not even that important. I guess it's the empathy part of trying to understand where somebody else is coming from. And sometimes it's okay to STF you and listen, because you might learn something really useful. Mo said a couple shows ago that his wife said some stuff to him and he just sat back and listened. And Mo ain't 21, but even at our advanced ages, being over 40, over 50, it ain't like we're too old to listen and learn, because sometimes somebody dropping nuggets and it may change the way we perceive or view everything, just because we never thought of it like that, or we never did the research. And ladies and gentlemen, sometimes it's okay just to shut up and listen. You don't have to comment on everything. You don't have to tell people about your time. Oh man, I know when this happened to me this way. Sometimes it's okay to just shut up and listen. I know most of us got a friend that whenever we tell them a story, they always got to come on and tell a better story. Oh man, that one time I was in this, man, it was pouring down rain. Here come Buddy. Oh man, I got trapped in a hurricane with me and my 10-speed, and I had to route my 10-speed. It's like, dude, what the hell are you talking about? But they just can't stop and listen, because it's like, I don't want you to tell a better story to me. And at some point, you have to realize you have to let these people go, because they don't ever want to learn. They just want to be story toppers. So no matter what it is you say, they got a bigger one and better one. Man, shit, I remember, man, back in 77, man, I tried to smoke some weed, man. Man, let me tell you, man, I got with some friends one time. I tried a whole kilo of cocaine, man. I ain't know what I was doing. I snorted a whole. And it's like, dude, let people tell their story and learn from whatever it is they're telling. You don't have to stop people from sharing their story because you feel the need to just jump in and be a part of it. It's okay to listen. It's okay to let somebody else have a little shine from time to time, or even just to learn something. Sit back and ask questions. Why is this so hard for us as a people? Why is it we have to compare what somebody else did to everything we did? Even if you did, it's okay to be quiet. Even if you were there and you know they lying. You know they lying because you was there. What up, Joe? And it's like these things hurt us to our core to just shut up and listen, because we want somebody to listen to our story. We want people to do everything that we did. And if they did what you did, then that makes your story even less appealing. So why is it we feel the need to do this? Why is it we feel the need to be on Front Street? Oh man, I like the background. But every time you talk, it's about being in the foreground. You want to, so I'm just saying. But you done everything. Man, I remember my wife was in the hospital. She was ready to have, man, I had a baby one time too. But can you just shut up sometime? And I know most of us got a friend who's like that. But what is it that causes this thing where we can't just shut up and listen? You don't have to agree. You don't even have to understand sometimes. But sometimes just let other people talk, especially when they're talking about something that you ain't done. And even if you have done it, listen to how it affected them. Listen to how all of us, our first time driving a car wasn't the same. Everybody who ate a meal at the same place, it wasn't the same. The best example that I can give is, and I'm going to just use the people here because I know ain't nobody sensitive. What's going on, Kelly? What's going on, Joe? Mel is our super producer. But let's just say Mel had a dinner date with me and with Mo. We went to the exact same restaurant. And I bet you Mel would give you two different experiences because she's with two different people. So her experience is going to be different. Her meals are going to probably be different. So guess what? She's going to have two different scenarios for the exact same thing, but she's with two different people. Me and Mo gonna tell you two different things about Mel because whatever's going on, we connected or disconnected in different ways. So same three people. All of us can just rotate and we're gonna have a bunch of different stories to tell because of the interaction, the chemical combustion. But everybody got something to say and it should be the same. That's insanity. That's pure insanity. So what we're going to do is we're going to get us a quick break, and then we're going to get ready to talk about this show. We're going to get into some subject, and we're going to talk about systems and attachments because I seen some stuff today that bothered me. So we'll be right back in a few. Mel, take us out, please, ma'am.
Supermarket sushi, really?
No. Wait, Troy, you work here?
I'm never not working. Like Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology, up to 100% dandruff protection, even between washes.
Never not working, huh?
Oh, Troy, you're such a good teacher.
Yeah, I know. Never not working. Never not working. Never, ever not working.
Are you serious?
Never not working. Dandruff protection that's never not working. Head & Shoulders Scalp Shield technology.
The human voice has always connected audiences with experiences. Major brands all across America have trusted Kever's voice time and time again. Conversational, powerhouse, intelligent, and sincere. That's the voice you need for your creative marketing process. KeaversVoice.com. Kever's Voice, Kever's Voice, KeversVoice.com. Always on, all the time.
This is the Dean of the College of HBCU Sports, Kenyatta Cavill of Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Come mix it up in the lab where the course lecture is in session every Tuesday from 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on Facebook Live, YouTube Spreaker, or the BCSN app. As we discuss all things about the HBCU sports culture, including exploring the week that was in the sporting HBCU diaspora, as well as the upcoming week of HBCU sports. With me, the Dean, the College of HBCU Sports, on Dr. Cavill's Inside the HBCU Sports Lab with Mike Washington and Charles Bishop. Course lecture dismissed.
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Majesty is a premium health and wellness tea line focused on bringing delicious yet healthy tea blends to the community. Filled with an abundance of vitamins and antioxidants, we work to blend teas with exotic spices and fruits to produce scrumptious and wholesome beverages. So check us out at mymajesties.com. That's MyMajesties.com. My Majesties, an Urban Passport member.
All right, we back and already got my first harassing message. Mo said he want to jump on in and comment. So do your thing, bro. Do your thing.
Yeah, no. You said a few things that they brought back some memories. I just want to touch upon them. And one of the things you're talking about is how people take in information. I think you said something like people just listen to the, just the what to do, right? So I'm different in that respect because I like to hear the whole gamut. I like to hear the good and the bad, and then make my own independent decision on which information I want to use. I mean, that's how I grew up as a little boy with no guidance. I used to listen to everything. I didn't filter it initially, right? I take everything in, and then I kind of made a decision what's going to be best for me. So that's just my process. And I'm just saying, there's no need to really cut any information off. Just take it all in, and then you do what's best for you. And then the other thing you kind of talked about was, I call it one-upmanship. When people come along and, you tell them, hey, man, today I got an award or this and that. And, they want to come along and say, man, I got 10 awards just like that, and it's like, that one-upmanship is dangerous, man, because I had a friend who did that. And notice I used the word had, because after a while, man, it was just too much for me. I couldn't do it. It took me 2 years to learn that he wasn't my people, because every time I made an accomplishment for me, my accomplishment, not his, for me, my accomplishment, he would kind of water over it. He kind of like spray water over it like it wasn't nothing, and then talk about his accomplishment. Those kind of people you do not need in your inner circle. Trust me, they will destroy you.
And I don't know if you remember, and somebody said something to me, and I had to start paying attention. When you got friends, and when you have an accomplishment or something, and you really not paying attention, and I ain't gonna say everybody does it intentionally, because I found myself doing it and I didn't think it was intentional, but I stopped because I understood the underlying message. When your friends accomplish something and you try to demean it by saying little, like, yo, man, I see you got your little traveling business. Yeah. Why do we feel the need to throw a little in there? How come we just can't congratulate them? And because, once it was said to me, I started paying attention. Damn, it does sound a little shady sometimes. And that's one of the things that I'm gonna talk about when I talk about the system. There's some things that we follow that we actually need to stop following, and there's some things that are built to help us. And the system is there, but we will tear the system up. So when somebody has something, why do we feel the need to diminish it? Oh, you got a little something, and it's like, okay, one of my friends, he said it to me, and I laughed. He said, "Yeah, I heard you got your little podcast." I just laughed. I was like, yeah, how's yours going? He said, oh, I ain't got one. I said, so you know, so and I really did take it that he said it with sarcasm. So I was like, you know, oh, that's what's up. So how's your little nothing going? And then he just looked at me, you know, but why throw that adjective in there? Why you can't just say, yo, man, I hear you doing something. You ain't gotta say I'm doing something big, but why throw that little subtle shade in there? Wow,
I think, yeah, no, I think, you know, I think it's got something to do with when people do that. I think it's got something to do with their own self-esteem, because there's no reason why you can't applaud somebody's accomplishments. You know, if you do something great, DVP, I can tell you, hey man, DVP, that was great, man. That was a good job. If Mel do something great, I can say, Mel, congratulations, man. I'm glad you got those trips off, you know, this and that. That doesn't take away from me. In fact, that kind of inspires me to get my game up, you know, and also I know that I can go to y'all because y'all did it. Y'all been there. So I don't really get it, man. That psychology is bass backwards. I do not get it.
And as Ron said, it's a backhanded compliment, and you know, and I want to think that's what it is, and I want to think a lot of us don't really know that we're doing it. That it's one of those bad habits we picked up, and once we start realizing it, we have to correct it. And I think that's one of the things that the system shows us how to correct behavior, but we don't want to correct it for fear of appearing snooty, appearing smart. When I get into today, I took Trina with me. I do a mentorship on Wednesdays. They want girls to start being involved. What's going on, Dad? What's going on, Ron? And so I brought Trina because I really don't know how to on a personal level. I don't know how to relate to little girls. I mean, I can teach them certain things because people are people, but when they got girl issues or even on how they understand, I was like, so Trina, you know, she talked about it. She was interested. So come with me. We're gonna do this. And I'm looking at the way we deal with people, and I'm listening, and how some of the teachers are saying things that are basically untrue, but we'll keep repeating them even if we don't have a story. I'd be like, yeah, no good dude, but he's slightly shady. And like, why you say that? Oh man, I done heard some things about you. You don't have nothing personal. You heard something and you pass this on. We're quick to jump on that system bus, and we will invariably undo our own selves. I was telling a friend, and you got to keep me focused on this more because I got a million thoughts running through my head. But I was telling a friend he wanted to travel. I was telling him about Mel and some of the things she got, and he's like, "Yo, man," he said, "That's that crazy. I can do that shit myself." I said, "So why ain't you then?" Because I mean, in theory, I'm sure it's easy for all of us to book our own trip. It's easy, and it'll probably save us some money. But damn, she done went through this. She got a bunch of good shit together. So now I ain't got to sit around and be searching. She got dates. So it's like, oh shit, I got dates figured out now. I got this figured out. She got an agenda for me. So why do I want to shit on her parade and talk about what she did? But she just saved me. Anybody who's ever tried to plan a trip, especially a cruise or a true trip overseas, know that shit take 3-4 weeks. So she got all this done, but you rather shit on her parade because you can't afford it. So now you want to bring her down.
And DVP, not to mention the fact. So I've been all over this world. I travel for my job, and the one thing I learned a lot just traveling, going to different places. But the one thing that I really put under my hat, which is undeniable, that I'm definitely sure that Mel will bring to the table, is I had to check. They started teaching me, listen, check the travel advisory, because the travel advisory, when you start reading that, it'll tell you, what areas are dangerous, what's the good places to go. All this information that normal people who travel, all they do is buy a damn ticket and go, right? But they don't do the research to figure out, okay, how am I gonna stay safe? What's a good place to go? This and that. Now, if Mel is planning trips, it's understood that she's gonna give you a nice trip because she wants you to come back. So, a lot of people probably take that for granted. So don't just, when you're dealing with a travel person, it's not something real easy that everybody can just do. Just jump online and get a ticket. There's more to it than that.
But the system says it's okay for us to shit on each other. the system that we want to follow, even though we love to talk about how to uplift people, how to do this, how to do that. And, you know, it's like I told when I had the guy on my who wanted to debate with me on my page about some shit that was undebatable, and he's like, "Oh, well, we can just go on your little show and talk about it." Well, no, you can go on your page and talk about it. You're the one who disagreed with me on my page, but why should I let you on my little show for you to argue with me? And when you're dealing in facts, in my world, there's nothing to argue about when it comes to facts. When we talk about how to solutions are based on individuals, but there are certain things that are facts that just cannot be argued. The fact is, 4 years ago, whenever it was, Trump was the president. Like him or not, that was a fact. The fact is today, Joe Biden is president. Like it or not, that is a fact. If you are an American, he is your president. Nothing else. There's nothing else to argue about. Nothing. Anything you're going to say, oh, he ain't my president, you sound stupid. He is your president. Whether you like Clarence Thomas or not, he's black. He ain't, I don't care what he act like. He's black. So for us to have a legitimate conversation, let's address facts. Then let's talk about how we feel and go from there. Other than that, everything we're talking about is based on alternate realities. You can't ignore certain things if you want to have an intelligent debate. And when we do these things, like it or not, DVP got a show. Like it or not, Mo got a free pass to come on anytime he want to. So whether he accepts it or not, hell, my new battle got his picture on there. Whether I ain't even asking him if I could put his picture on there. I just went to his page and stole one. Cause you know what? That's what friends do. And me and Mo ain't never met. But guess what? Mo, my friend, whether he like it or not, because he right there and he taking this. So I didn't ask Mo for a picture. Hell, first time Mo saw it, he's like, where you get? What's your page? That's what thieves do. I did it. So when somebody say, yo, Mo, your friend is a thief, Mo got to look and laugh. He said, yeah, you're right. He stole my picture. I ain't asked for a damn piece of permission. But we get caught up in systems where we'll blame everybody for everything else. And when the system is there to help us, we don't want to help. And the point I was going to make about Trinity, we at the school and we got, it's our first time dealing with girls. So I got Trinity there so she can talk to the girls because we don't have enough girl mentors. And one of the mentors started talking about the kids not being able to spell correctly or word usage. We talking 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. And, we've talked about this before. The public school system is there. It's there. And we blame a lot on teachers. We blame a lot on everybody else. But when your kid cannot read, when your kid cannot write, that is a parental issue. That's a parental issue. The system is there to help them. But a teacher, a basic teacher who teaches 6 hours a day, one class every hour, she got 20 to 30 students. That means she's dealing anywhere from 100 to 200 students a day. Do you really think she got the time to concentrate on your one kid? But you at home, you ain't got but 2 kids. How do you not know your kids can't read or write? But I will see people all the time blaming the school system. There was a 12th grader who couldn't get a scholarship because he couldn't graduate because he couldn't read. 12th grade, can't read. Well, what did you mean he can't read? That's the school fault. And yeah, the school bears some blame because they let him get to the 12th grade. But how you don't know your 12th grader can't read? How you don't know this? Y'all ain't never just been riding around and signs passed by and he couldn't make out the signs? He ain't never wrote you no note about he was going to hang out with friends. You notice all the words are spelled wrong. And there's a system in place. But for the system to work, there has to be a system of checks and balances. That's parents. It starts with you. It ends with you. You are the middle. You just got people coming and filling in time. You had something more?
Yeah. No, I was just going to say, man, you got to be, if you're a parent, you got to be an accomplice in your child's success. You can't, the teacher's there to say, listen, here are the tools. All right. This is how you use the tools. But if the child don't pick the tools up and try to figure out how to use them, that's not really the teacher's fault. They don't even go so far. You know what I mean? You got to be an accomplice in trying to get this child the learnings that they need.
Right. And you got to sit there, ask your kid, do you talk to your kid? we were watching. We watch court TV today. We was watching Judge Hatcher. And no one won't like Judge Hatcher because she doesn't do a lot of legal rulings or something. It's an emotion-based show. And when I watch court shows, I like to hear law, how they came to conclusions. Because this is one thing that we don't understand about the system. The system will work for you if you know the system. The system ain't what the streets tell you. And everybody will tell you how this don't work, how that don't work. But anyway, there was a lady, a black lady, Lana, who enrolled her kids in a private school, $25,000. Now, Lana's two daughters are Emily and I think Sarah. Emily and Sarah. This ain't profiling. This is just a fact. How many black girls in 2023 are named Emily and Sarah? So to me, this woman already is delusional because you've given your kids white names. But she pulled her kids out of the school because, Susan. You pulled your kids out of the school because the school is teaching critical race theory. Now, see, before I understood what critical race theory was, I spoke out of pocket because I didn't know, because I was ignorant. But once I learned, critical race theory is a graduate level college course. It won't be taught in schools. There's a whole different thing. It's history. The school was teaching about the Tulsa massacre. The Tulsa massacre, something that if you didn't know, most of us, if we're honest, we learned about it when Trump did this whole Juneteenth thing. Some people who study Black history knew a little bit about it, but most of us learned nothing about Tulsa or even successful Black people growing up. It just wasn't taught. It wasn't part of our history. So the white dean of this school is teaching this. These two girls, 15 years old, they go home. They're crying. And they're in middle school. They're crying because they ain't never heard this. They're 15. Mom gets upset because they ain't never heard this. You know why she's upset? One, because she ain't taught this, but she talking about she don't want her kids learning this. She don't want them to be victims. She don't want them learning things that there's no proof of. And Judge Hatcher was like, what are you talking about? This is fact. You got a white teacher teaching your kids stuff about their history. This ain't critical race theory. These are things that happen. The mom was like, well, we don't know it all happened. Something. Your daughter just did a poster. They got factual data. They got pictures. They got commentary. And this black woman is sitting there arguing that Black Wall Street, the Tulsa massacre, that they might have never happened because she didn't know nothing about them. She wasn't taught that in school. And it's like the system is there. And sometimes it sucks. It sucks. Mo, you right now you're lucky. It sucks though for some of these kids to come home now and bring you stuff that we never learned. And as opposed to trying to learn it because we were never taught it, you get mad. I mean, hell, most of us were taught this BS about Christopher Columbus discovering America. One of the biggest lies going. Still ain't changed his holiday. Still giving him credit. And you know it's crazy. A white teacher was the one who made me look up Amerigo Vespucci, because I always wondered if Christopher Columbus discovered America, why ain't it named after him? All he got is a couple of cities named after him: Columbus, Ohio, Columbus, Georgia, and probably a couple of more. But Mo, if you discovered a place, wouldn't it be called Trip? I mean, wouldn't it be called your name?
Hey, listen, for me, probably, but if I was a white man, definitely. I'm putting my stamp on that.
Right. Man. Yeah, I don't know how the moon got his name. I don't know who that was named after, but we're talking America. And it's like this lady is sitting there arguing with this, and the judge is giving her whole soliloquy about, damn, I wish I would have had this. It would have made me a little bit smarter to know my own heritage. I don't want my kids to be victims. That's the lady saying. How does knowledge make you a victim? Knowledge is power. Once you know something and you know facts, nobody can take that from you. Nobody can ever take that from you. And here this mother is fighting against this. And Judge Hatcher asked the girls, would you like to go back to the school? These 15-year-old girls in middle school are saying, yes, we learned so much. We like this. We like being educated. The mom just ain't trying to hear this shit. The woman keeps talking about, I don't want my kids learning critical race theory. The judge said, this is not critical race theory. This ain't just Black history. This is history. These are things that actually happened that we should have all known about. They didn't just get written about. We just started reading about them. Because most of this stuff has been there. Nobody ever pushed us that way because we were divided and we like being ignorant to a certain point because it helps us not to have to be accountable and responsible or to step up. And I'm just watching something like that. This is some shady shit. And then man training at the school, and I'm looking at people say things about some of these kids, and it's like, damn, the system is there. One of the teachers doesn't want to help the kids. He's like, when I teach it to them, it's up to them to get it. I don't check to see if they understand. If they don't understand, that's on them. See, now we got to do something about that teacher. This teacher is a problem. If they don't get it, it is your job to make sure they get it. If it's only one or two ain't getting it, then that's fine. But if all of them ain't getting it, it's like when we teach a class. If most of the class flunks a test, that's on the teacher. If only 2 people fail the test, that's on the student. The math is there. If you're teaching well and most people get it, then you did a good job. But if most of the class fail, it ain't because they're stupid. It's because you're not a good teacher. Her being in denial about her Blackness, it was insane. And like I said, the way she named her kids, and hey, name the kids whatever you want to. But in this day and age, Susan and these lily white names, it was crazy. But
hey, let me add something, man, because I don't want to miss this comment because before you move on. But for me, the difference between critical race theory and American history, the difference is that American history has been filtered. They filtered out the embarrassment and accountability. So now you go back over to critical race theory. Now there's some stuff you got to deal with. That's right. Why they don't want it taught. You know what I'm saying? But American history, man, when I was learning American history, they had so many filters on that thing. They had one page in a little corner. They had a picture of Malcolm X. Teacher, I remember this because in that class, it kept bothering me, but he had a little picture of Malcolm X in the corner. So we got to that page and I asked, I know it was me or somebody in the class, said, hey, who's that guy? And the guy said, oh, that's Malcolm X. We're not going to cover him in this class. And then he said, turn the page. So I'm like, okay, this is part of the filtering process. I didn't know at the time, but now I understand what was going on.
Okay, and Iris is right. The school is supposed to help a family to educate their children. It's nobody's role strictly alone, but parents got a big. It's in Trina's best interest. It's in DVP's best interest for our kids to be knowledgeable. So when the school does something, yeah, we want to check and see behind them. And guess what? Every now and then, it sucks to be almost 60 and I'm still learning stuff. But I know the school I went to, even though I had some great teachers, I was even in some advanced classes. What we learn ain't nothing like what they teach today because there's so much more out there. And what's even crazier to me, especially in these two instances, in my instance personally, is that somebody white is pushing for me to learn more about Black history than my Black teachers ever did. The dean of this school was a white lady who she wanted to take the kids on a field trip to Tulsa just to visit it. And you got a Black person opposing this, not trying to hear none of this. This to me is what is crazy. The system is there. We will fight. We will fight for them not to be educated. When we're going to fight for them to get rid of Columbus Day? When we're going to fight to get that taken out of the history books? But you don't want them to know the truth about something, but we're okay with all this, with a rapist, a slave trader getting credit for discovering America and us getting a day off for it. And this is why I don't understand the system, because everybody swears it's this, it's that. Well, yeah, why are we learning so much more if they want to keep us down? It's out there. Go ahead, Mo.
No, I was just going to add, and, just along the same lines, what I learned in school, be good and behave, So this is the disconnect between education and reality, because be good and behave didn't map to where I grew up. Where I grew up, I'm going back to the hood. Ain't no be good and behave. That's not going to help me in the hood, man. Where I'm coming from. So that's already a clear indication that that what you get educated does not map directly to your real life situation. And so I think the fact that we didn't get taught a lot of things has a lot to do with the fact that they didn't want us to know the real truth.
And like I say, it is we blame systems for so much. Every time we don't get something done, when we quick to blame a system, it's always somebody against us, even when they tell us in great detail how we can help ourselves, how we can do better. But if it requires us to do something other than bitch and moan about it, we truly don't want to hear it. And Ron says the system has to be manipulated until it fits us. We probably won't see that while we're alive. But why? Ron, think about it. Look at how quick they changed some of these military bases. They changed their names on because they were named after racists or slave traders. We can do this now, except it seems to me that we don't care about our kids. We're so into this whole me first thing that we don't care about the future. I mean, it's great that they changed the name of some of these military bases, but I really don't give a shit. Let's change some of these school curriculums. Let's get rid of Columbus Day. First and foremost, let's get rid of Columbus Day. Let's strike him from the books. They ain't gonna do that because that means they got to do all new books, and it's gonna be a little costly. But damn, why are you doing all new books? Why not why not correct the mistakes that us old people were taught that we know now weren't true, so that our kids don't read about the same foolishness and ignorance that we had no clue about. I mean, just think if it ain't like Tulsa. The Tulsa thing happened 3 months ago. This happened before most of us were born. And why didn't we know about it? Why were our teachers so quiet about this? And that's the crazy part. That's the insane part. But there's a system that we pay into. Most of us still pay taxes. And we will bitch and whine and gripe about everything that affects us now, but not anything that affects the kids and tomorrow. That to me is crazy because the system is there. A system is there for us. If instead of watching Real Housewives or Dr. Pimple or some of this other craziness, the system is there for us to learn and adjust. Mel has a system in place where she has some hellaciously great getaways where you can go to another country and learn some things and see how proud other people are of their heritage, how proud they are to show you around their towns and show you their history. Where can we go to show people our history? A cotton field? Go ahead.
And so, no, I just wanted to kind of extend this thinking on this because DVP, you are part of a system. You work part of a system. So if we just take that as a microcosm of what we're dealing with in America, right? That system you worked in. Think about the process it would take to make some changes within that system, because that is a microcosm of this entire system that we're talking about here. I know it would be difficult to make changes in the system you worked in. I'm pretty sure. But what are your thoughts on it?
Oh, I'm sorry, I got distracted. Give me that last part one more time.
No, I was just saying the system you worked in, I know it wasn't easy. It's not easy to make changes in that system. So that's that, but that system is just a microcosm of what we all are looking at in America, these big systems. So go ahead.
When you talk about it, it's like when I try to tell the people, yeah, they say the system wasn't made for us. And again, it's because we don't know it. Because, again, and he's talking about my law enforcement career. Part of the reason I stayed in it, because I saw how we could actually make it work for us if we stopped lying to each other about it wasn't built for us. No, and it wasn't built for us. But if you know what you're doing, there are plenty of us who have benefited from the system because we weren't scared. We didn't listen to what the streets told us. And the best example I can always give, again, is with guys who swear that they cannot see their children. And I tell you, why can't you see him? She won't let me. Did you get the child legitimated? Once the child is legitimated, visitation comes with it. So there's no way she can stop you and not go to jail. Well, what's legitimation? Well, you got to go to court. Oh man, I ain't messing with the court system. Why? Oh, it's against us. It's not against you. The courts want children to know their mother and their father. They want this. Trust me. Anytime a rapist can get visitation because he's the Father. The courts want this, period. But they rather listen to the streets. And, you know, and we were talking about this is crazy because we don't understand what a default judgment means. And I was telling Trina, I got sued by somebody who said I didn't pay him $700 something. This guy's never worked for me. Had I been the typical colored boy, I would have just ignored it and got a default judgment, had to pay a guy who never worked for me. But I went to my tax man, got my tax records of who worked for me in the year I was being sued for, and said, this guy has never worked for me. They was like, thank you. And they gave me a thing dismissing the case. But had I just ignored it because I was like, oh, this ain't me, and he never worked for me, he would have won the case, because that's what a default judgment is. Once you get served, you don't have to put it in your hand. Once they mail it to you, the mail is considered legitimate. You're responsible for what that is. So when fellas get this court document, because before you have to pay child support, there's a document that comes through the court. There's a document that comes to the court. It comes in the mail that tells you a summons. Hey, answer for this, because so-and-so says you're the baby daddy, and we want you to pay. I ain't even sleep with that woman. You better go to court and tell them that. You better go to court and ask for a paternity test, because when you don't show up and she does, the judge is gonna say, well, where is Mo? Well, he gonna ask his clerk, did we send the certified letter out? Yes, ma'am. Did the post office turn it back? No, ma'am. Okay, Mo ain't here. We're gonna just find $200 a month. And now Mo behind the 8 ball, simply because he didn't want to show up and be heard. The system is there for you. Now you got to pay. Now you want to see your child, but you got to get this paperwork done still. And it's crazy. After one of the shows, a guy called me. He said, "Man, I wish I would have knew this earlier, because my son had a child when he died. Now I can't see the baby because they don't have any rights, because the son never got the baby legitimated. So now, unless the mother of the child wants to be a great person, she ain't got to let them see it, because the baby was legally never theirs, legitimately." And see, this is where our ignorance kicks in, and we don't even want to try to go through it. But I'll tell Mo my war story about how the system screwed me over. Oh, man, they got me. They making me pay child support. And oh my God, what happened in court? Oh, I ain't show up. So you didn't even go there to fight your case. See, I ain't never finna tell you the system is fair. But it won't ever be fair if we don't go there to fight it. Because if we don't go there to fight it, how can we say it ain't fair? So this was my aha moment. Let me tell people how we can do this. Let me show you how, as a man, because more men are getting custody. As a matter of fact, there was a study out, and I wish I would have been thinking about it, that says 80% of men who fight for custody are winning it. So when these guys saying that ain't true, you didn't get it because you never legitimated the child. If you don't legitimate yourself as the father, you ain't gonna never get custody, because you didn't go through the process. So you listen to the streets and you file for custody, but when y'all got to court and the judge asked you for that sheet of paperwork, you ain't got it. So yeah, you wasted money, because your attorney, some of these attorneys shady. Your attorney ain't gonna ask you. They don't want to get that money. Oh, I forgot to tell you need legitimation. That's another $300. When in theory, it costs $122. But the system, it was not designed for Black people per se. And if I'm being honest, and I'm gonna take a hit for this, since most of us colors don't even want to be Americans, it clearly couldn't have been designed for you. Because, oh, y'all Hebrews, y'all Jerusalemists, y'all whatever it is, y'all don't want to take advantage of your American rights because y'all deny America. So the system is for Americans. And if you know what it says once your foot is on American soil, you get American rights. See, that's in there, but y'all don't read that part. Y'all don't read that part. And that's what we gotta do better. What's going on, Bobby? And we have to do better. And right. Bobby says Americans tend to view racism by individuals as a bigger problem for Black people in the United States than racism in the nation's laws. Black Americans themselves, however, are more likely to say racism in U.S. law is a larger problem. And it's easy for us to always use that. It's easy to keep talking about who's in our neighborhood. It's easy to always blame everybody else. But we don't look at how many Black people try to open up a nail salon in the Black neighborhood. None. So why we keep saying this? And we'll say things that we know to not be true and blame the system when it wasn't the system. Mo, do you watch football?
I stopped, man, after they did that to Kaepernick. I'm done,
Okay.
man. Yeah.
So everybody I keep talking about how many black owners there are in football, the lack thereof. But can you tell me a black person who tried to buy a football team that couldn't? So if you don't have an example of where a black man couldn't, where he wanted to, then your argument doesn't hold a lot of weight with me. Oh, Puffy tried to buy one. Puffy's a millionaire. If you're not a member of the billionaires club, you don't qualify. We know how many black billionaires there are. And how many of them have you ever heard talking about one on a football team? They don't. It's a headache. It's a headache. So who's stopping them? Is it the NFL or is it them? Man, if I had the money, I would do it. But you don't even have the money to pay your mortgage. So yeah, that might be out for you. And some things aren't always as racist as we make them out to be, but that's the system that is easier to blame than to say something different. The system. You finna say something, Mo?
Yeah, no. I want to piggyback on what you were saying. You were talking about legitimation. The first time I ever heard that word, I was dealing with you. That was the first time in my life I ever heard that word. And I looked it up and I tried to understand what it was. I heard you talk about it and I was like, man, I didn't even know that this existed. So with that said, my whole point is that we got to learn the rules. So think about it this way. At DVP, you might be more familiar with this than me, but I have family members who are familiar with this as well. But you think about if you went to prison, there's rules inside of prison that you need to follow. You want to survive, there's rules. You got to follow those rules. They spelled out. It's not something new that you got to figure out. So listen, outside of prison, ain't no different. We out here in the free world. There's rules that you got to follow. If you follow them rules, then you can make progress. But if you don't, it's going to work against you. Simple as that.
Right. But if you don't take the time to learn them, if you just keep listening to people who want you to be as unsuccessful as them, that's where we stay. That's where we stay. Because we keep listening to people who have no basis of knowledge. They just, again, the system. The system, when we tell each other our vote don't count, but we watch them constantly try to take away our vote. The system is when you as a business owner, and this is one of the ones I truly hate, when people try to say, oh, I start selling shoes. Well, I can't get Mo to buy my $200 shoe, but he'll support Nike and buy their $200 shoe. And I hate when we try to compare ourselves to proven products. The system says a proven product will always be worth more. Nike is a proven product whether we like them or not. Jordans hold their value. My brand, Mo don't know nothing about. He wants to support me, but I'm already trying to put myself on the top with people lying at the top with. So when you start a business, we've had these conversations before. At some point, when you start a business, you got to get business first and then raise up. We don't have enough cachet to sit there and start overcharging people or charging my stuff just as good as Louis Vuitton. Yeah, but your name is known as Louis Vuitton. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna add, man. There's a big mistake there. The big mistake there is get goodwill first. Forget about the money, forget about the price and all that. Get you some goodwill first, because after that, your name is gonna buzz through these streets like it ain't nothing new. And I'm telling you right now, once people start talking about you, it's over. You're gonna corner the market.
But you gotta put the work in. You gotta put the work in. See, as they say, I'm an OG. I remember when Nikes went before $40, $50.
Yeah,
you can't find none of them no more. But when they first came out, they didn't come out at $300. When I was growing up, the most expensive shoe that we had was them Dr. J's by Converse.
$20.
Most expensive shoe out there.
$20. I couldn't afford them. That's why I don't.
And see, you tell them I'm a little bit older more. When they first came out in our neighborhood, it was $50. So you had to work hard to get these. See, by the time Mo came up, they're going down. But they was $50. We want to get these shoes, but they were still Converse. Converse was the brand before Nike, because everybody wanted to pay them Chuck Taylors. You know how much Chuck Taylors cost now? See, that was a $10, $15 shoe back in the day. It's just canvas.
Yeah.
but they got brand recognition. We can't keep saying what we pay for a proven product over an unproven product. And we don't want to put the work in. You know, I told the story about when I first started my security company. I started at a lower rate because I couldn't compete with the big boys. I did not have name recognition. We don't want to put that in. We love to say, oh, so-and-so. Hey, to last and get in, you got to get your name out there. You don't get your name out there overcharging everybody. Because, hell, until I got into counterfeit stuff, I didn't know who Louis Vuitton was. I didn't know who Kate Spade was. I didn't know who Dooney and Burke was. 7 Against Mankind. See, there are brands we don't know shit about. Those are truly expensive. See, we know about Rolexes. But whenever y'all got time, Google most expensive watches. Rolex ain't even in the top 10. But that's what we know about because some black people got it. But there are watches that will put Rolex, they make Rolex look like Kias. And it's like, well, damn, I ain't never heard this, right? Because that's out of our realm. So we can't keep reaching for the top because one, we don't know what the top is because we don't want to do the research. The system is there. Everything is there for us to do it, but most of us don't want to put the work in. My friend, my buddy, Deborah Latson, went to school. We were cops together. Now she practicing psychology. See. Ain't nothing holding us back but us. As Ron said, a system has never slowed me. A system has never stopped me. It may have slowed me down, but it didn't stop me. And that's because he's short. I can make short people jokes. We can do what we want to if we're willing to put the work in. And guess what? Sometimes it's slow. It's slow. You're gonna hit some obstacles. Because guess who don't want to see? Guess who truly doesn't want to see you succeed? Your people. Your people more than anybody else. And we love to say racism, but who is it that keep telling us, man, you wasting your time doing this? Man, they ain't gonna let you do this. Man, they ain't gonna let you do that. Who is this they? Why are you sitting there knocking me and my dream down? Who is this they? And how many times have we heard this from they? Yeah, we know all about Karen now, but Karen ain't in most of our lives. And this is where we get to the part where we don't want to give each other hope. We don't want to uplift each other. And let's say this. There are some things that truly we can't afford. Truly. And that's okay. But because you can't afford it, if you see it's a good thing, why can't you help promote it? Because we promote the most shit that don't promote us. The system.
And let me
go ahead.
Oh, no, are you going to something else? Because I just want to talk about what you just said. Okay. So look, I just want to bring this to everybody's attention because we're talking about businesses, and us, how we run businesses and why we don't do business with each other and this and that. So, a big part of it is probably product and service. Those are a couple of the things that probably make some of us go to the other man instead of trying to deal with our people. And sometimes I've been in some restaurants and they had bad attitudes or they dealt with me a certain way, and I'm like, I ain't coming back no more. I'm trying to be here to support my people, but I need to be treated properly. Well, I'm saying all that just to tell you about this. It was something I came across that there's a group of people, and I think Black people in general just need to take a page out of their book, because there's a group of people, I forgot who they were, but I'll figure it out after the show and then I won't be able to tell you. But there's a group of people, and the way they operate is they do business with each other, right? But here's what happens. If I'm doing business, let's say DVP got a business, I'm doing business with DVP, and DVP got products, and I'm coming to buy DVP's products. And I find out that DVP's products are substandard, right? So what they have an agreement. This is kind of like a contract within their culture, where they say, listen, I already went down, and I'm gonna use Mel. I said I already went to Mel, and Mel, let's say Mel was white, just for the purpose of this here discussion. If Mel was white and she had a business, I went down to Mel's, and Mel's is right on, man. Hers is perfect. Now with this group of people, what they do before I go to Mel, I tell DVP, we need to do a sit down, brother. And because of our culture, DVP says, all right, let's do a sit down. So before I take the business somewhere else, DVP is going to agree to a sit down, and he's going to get critical feedback on his product, on his service, and what he needs to fix, right? So we give him a chance. We have some compassion. We give him a chance to fix it. So DVP said, all right, I'm going to fix it. So he goes back, fixes, everything that's wrong here, fix it. We come back to him again. We don't leave. We don't just leave just yet. We come back to him again and we say, okay, DVP, we're going to check you. We're going to try you again, man. And, at this time, maybe he got everything right. Maybe he's really close. In either case, that process continues before we leave and take the business outside of the community. That right there is fantastic, y'all. We really need to implement that.
But for us to implement that, and Bobby, I already said, we got to be willing to understand the difference between critiquing and criticism. See, the system. Mo had a job, I had a job, everybody's had a job. If you get a job as a server and you don't do your job, you don't get the tips. You want to talk about the customer. The customer going to talk about the server, which is invariably tied to the restaurant. See, the server costs two people money. The server costs two people money, but you want to call the person who came there, save their money to come to your establishment. Oh, they don't even tip. Well, what did you do to earn a tip? And the system says get a job that will support you. See, if your job depends on tips, then that means you got to be nice to the tippers. And we don't understand this. So when we complain about the service, oh, if it was a white restaurant, but it ain't a white restaurant. So that's our first go-to. Because guess what? We're here at this black restaurant. So clearly, if we love the white restaurant so much and they complain, why don't we go back there? We try to give you a chance. And here you got somebody who wants a job and giving shitty service. The owner doesn't check his servers. The servers have a direct impact on the customers. The customers stop coming. The owner may be a great guy, but everybody he surrounded himself with is down in his business. And nobody wants to talk about that because the system is what I'm saying, we're supposed to support each other. We're supposed to do this. We're supposed to do that. But at some point, part of having a business plan, the system is, one, don't ask your friends. One of the things that I've done business with a couple people, and they love to use ghost shoppers to come in and see what happens and come back and give them a review. See, and this is how they find out what's going on, because you can't send your friends in because your friends will mess stuff up. But just get random people to go in there and tell you what they experienced. When you own a business, do the same thing. See who's good, see who's bad, go back, and then do something about that, because we can sit back and talk all the time. And I already talking about the Jews, and I'm eating at racist places. And you could see the way they looked at us and it was racist. But guess what? Racist Becky, to get her tip, kept it nice and friendly when she was speaking. She asked how we was doing. I know she didn't give a shit. She made sure we had water. I made sure she didn't stick her finger in it. But when we go to the black place, we got one glass of water. 2 hours later, we still on that one glass of water is down to the bottom because we can't get a refill. So as we try to help each other do better, every critique is not a criticism. And we have to learn how to apply critiques to make our system better. But everybody don't want to be better. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, DVP. But no, I was just going to say, man, what you're saying also tracks to us people as individuals too. If you want to get yourself better, everything he's saying, everything DVP just said maps directly to self-improvement as well. It's not just people, how the process of how people improve their business can directly map to how you can improve yourself as well. It's the process, it ain't no different, but you got to have a fair critique of yourself. Stop being oblivious saying,
right,
this looks good or that looks good, or, whatever it is, you gotta be fair about it.
Because I don't care how good you think your recipe is or how much your spouse loves it. You gotta let strangers tell you this. You gotta take some of your stuff to work with you and let your coworkers taste it. When your coworkers say, hey man, can I get some of that? And you tell them $5, $6, $7, whatever, then you got a successful product. See, but you got to do something. The system says it's there for us to take. We just have to put the work in. We have to put the work in. And when it involves our community, again, we have to put the work in. If we don't want the Jews, the Indians, or whoever else in our neighborhood, and I would love to tell people to open up a shop in a Black neighborhood. I would love to tell them, but guess what the system says? At the moment of strife, which businesses do we tear down first? Historically, Mo, which businesses do we tear down first when we're unhappy with America?
It's ours, but it's also related to proximity. The businesses are close to where we live, so those are the first ones to go.
Okay, but Mo, if we use that theory and we want it to be true, when white people are unhappy, they don't tear their shit up.
Facts.
So it can't be proximity. It can't be. Because they don't tear up their shit. They go somewhere else, and we got to stop tearing up our own shit and understand this, ladies and gentlemen. When I went to a community and talked to them, I said, y'all understand insurance is higher in Black communities because it's showing that we will tear our shit up first. You got to have Black people standing outside saying this is a Black-owned business. Why? So you're in a place and people don't know that this is what your business is. They know, they just don't care because it's not theirs. But they want better. We want better this, we want better that, so we can tear it up first. See, sometimes we got to improve who we are to get improving shit to come to us. Because I know some people I know some Black people who got some nice businesses. The first thing they ain't gonna do is open up in a Black neighborhood. They got to spend too much on security. They're gonna spend too much on insurance. It costs so much more because we won't do. We are what the system says we are. And Trina has said something. Sometimes it's easy for us when people say we're animals in this. It's easy for us to be that than to try to prove them wrong. And Bobby, it may fall under what we call Black fatigue. But when you're fighting for right and to get better, you gotta fight through that. As much as I try to help people and tell them things about the law, I will even go and do research for their state. You don't think that's fatiguing to me? I know Georgia, but if you call me and say, hey man, I got this, now I got to read, Mo called me and tell me he got a problem. Now I got to read Arizona law. Now I got to see if Mo is violating a state law or a city. So now I need to know what city he is so I can look up city ordinances. This shit is fatiguing to me. I ain't even charging Mo. And Mo keep giving me excuses. Who has the fatigue? Who has the fatigue? It's me who's doing all the work. Mo can tell me everything that's going wrong. I say, Mo, you need to do this. Man, I ain't finna do all that. So we keep talking about how hard the world is on us, but then we'll turn around and say, ain't nothing in life easy. So if we know ain't nothing in life easy, why do we keep thinking shit is gonna be easy? We know we gotta put in work. Guess what? As we get ready to take a break and veer over to the next car, when we talk about attachments, Mo got a wife, DVP got a wife. It wasn't easy to get these women. We had to put in work. We had to prove ourselves. So we will do certain things and then act like everything else is supposed to come to us. Me and Mo had unsuccessful, unhappy, shitty relationships. It took us a minute to get to where we are. And I ain't saying this to disparage nobody, but even when we find a great relationship, we're not finna sit here and lie and say sometimes we still ain't tired. We still be like, man, I can't believe I got into this shit. But guess what? We don't just run out and leave. Now we put in more work to get us there, to get us back to where we were. See, to be successful, to be anywhere close to happy, to get what you want, you're going to have to fight through fatigue. You're going to have to fight through some acts of disrespect, some acts of aggression. Sometimes it's you who's doing all those and don't realize it. You standing up for yourself, or you stand up for this, or you stand up for that. All those sound great. It's part of that track to success. There is nobody who is successful that can tell you, man, I woke up and shit, life was great.
So let me just chime in on this before you about to go to break probably. But let me just chime in on this. So just jumping on what DVP was talking about, what I know about Kobe Bryant was the fact that, y'all know how great of a basketball player Kobe Bryant was, right? But when he went to practice, he played harder in practice than he did in the real games. And his teammates would be like, listen, man, this is just practice. You ain't got to go all out like that. But he told him, he said, listen, right here during practice is where you put in the work. You got to put in the work here. if you wanted to transfer on to into the real game, you can't take it light here and then get in the real game and play hard. So that's the same thing about when we was talking about relationships. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put the work in. You can't just coast along and then all of a sudden when you get in a relationship, start putting in work.
And that's a great example because I did the research on Kobe. And I listed people who are Kobe fans, and Kobe didn't come into the league as the Black Mamba. I want y'all to do the research. Kobe became the Black Mamba after he was accused of rape. It was his alter ego. It was after their rape when Kobe became the Kobe that most of us know and love. And we don't understand it. And see, during that black fatigue, during the worst moments of his life, his wife was talking about leaving. His basketball career was trying to go downhill. Kobe said, if you watch the Kobe documentary, Kobe said to get through all that was going on, he left his Kobe self and became the Black Mamba so that he could get away from it. So see, under black fatigue, under black stress, he became something else that made him a better person. He learned how to separate the two, and he had to fight through that. So he fought to get Vanessa back. He fought to become the Black Mamba that we know. Because when he first came in, he was just Kobe Bean Bryant. And when people don't understand, his work came, he may have eventually become one of the greatest basketball players ever, but he truly didn't become that way till he hit that hard place and all this shit started crumbling. He could have gave in and gave up. He didn't. He created an alter ego and he rose. He rose. As they say, when you lay concrete, watch how hard them weeds and shit fight to grow up through concrete. Nothing should go through concrete. But you can't find this concrete that's been there 10 or 15 years where you don't see a little weed coming through. How in the hell did it get through all that? You know how long it had to fight to get through that? People can't fight through concrete. But here it is, a plant with no strength can get through all this concrete. We have to learn to put the work in so that we can create our own systems and make our system work for us. But it ain't gonna be easy. Mo says, and I love it and I appreciate him for it. Mo always says something to the effect of he wish he would have had something like this growing up to give him some insight on something, to give him some things to think about, to give him some things to work on. Because too many times we pat each other on the back and don't look, and because we don't know things. People who I've reached out to when they tell me about the show, and I ask them, tell me how I can make the show better. I appreciate you telling me you think the show is good, but how can I make it better? See, that if you're not striving to be better, then you're here and you're okay with people just feeding you stuff. Because a lot of people ain't gonna try to hurt your feelings. They may throw a little shade, like, yeah, I like your little show. Okay, it's cute, whatever. How can I make my show better? How can I make my show better? How can I do this? Tell me what you think, so that I can see if it's something that I can implement. I let Trina tell me stuff. Sometimes I don't like hearing it, but I know she's giving it from a place of love. When I ask my people, tell me what you think about the show. Well, we like this, but we didn't really like this. Or you could try to do, have you ever thought about this? It's the reason I try to make sure I speak to all y'all who pop up, because that was one of the things that people say they liked, that I speak when they show up here. I take the time, Bobby, when y'all don't write super long comments, to read them. Sometimes y'all comments are a little too long for me to read because I got to hit stuff and I be trying to read the computer while I'm talking. That's how I get distracted. But these are the things. When you want to do better, you have to accept critiquing. And unfortunately, you got to accept criticism. A lot of criticism is actually accurate. The difference between critiquing and criticism is critiquing comes with a solution. Criticism just comes with negatives. And we're not built to take in negatives because we don't know how to separate the two, because we don't know who we're talking to. Because everybody who criticizes us, sometimes they ain't there to hurt our feelings. They just tell them the truth that we ain't ready for, because they don't say how to make things better. Mo, this is, you tell your wife you don't like the food, but you can't tell her how to make it better. It comes across as criticism. The fact is you still didn't like it. So
listen, listen, man. I don't know where you're going, but I ain't no way in hell.
You jumping off this train?
That. Yeah, I ain't no way in hell I'm doing that, brother. I don't know where you're going, man. But I just want to let you know.
But that's what I'm saying. I mean, because sometimes you don't know why you like something, you just don't like it. It don't change the fact you don't like it. Somebody say, well, what can I do better? I don't know, because I didn't cook it. I just know I don't like this. So it comes across as criticism, but at that point, that's all they can give you. If you want critiquing, sometimes you got to go to another chef. You got to go to another cook, somebody who recognize, Trini can make stuff, and she put her heart and soul into it. And she be like, did you taste the jasmine? Did you taste this? And I'm like, Trini, my taste buds ain't like that. It pains me that I can't taste all these different flavors, because she looking like she just stepped straight out of Chef Gordon. Hey, she just came from one of his classes. Babe, I like regular shit. I don't have the palate, the taste buds to appreciate all this stuff. But other people, oh man, I love this. And it's like, a couple of my friends, they gourmet chefs. Try this cake. I'm not gonna like that cake. I like Kroger cake. You know what I'm saying? I like Miss Mary cake from around the way. I don't know what to do with it. It's too much. It's too rich. I don't like Godiva chocolate. I like Snicker bars. But so you can't get up. You can't, and we have to understand this. So sometimes you got to know who you're dealing with when you're wanting information. As Mo said, he learned a lot about legitimation from me. So why would you not come to me if you got questions about legitimation? In this point, theoretically, I'm the expert. Why would you ask your cousin from around the way? Why? Because you want him to tell you something that's easy for you to do. Because DVP gonna make you print out this paperwork. DVP gonna make you go to the courthouse. DVP gonna tell you, man, I don't want to do all that. I just want to see my kid. Well, there's no quick way to do it. You don't want to kiss her ass. Y'all don't get along. Y'all can't talk because y'all calling each other names. The only way to do it is to get this paperwork done. The judge will give you visitation once he signs it. If she refuses to sign it, then you ain't got to pay child support no more. So what do you have to lose? What do you got to lose?
So look. I wanna just make this comment, but I really want feedback from Dr. Deb on this. But the comment is that, one thing, just going off what you was just talking about, DVP, the one thing that I've seen a lot, and maybe you've seen it, and maybe some other people on the show have seen it, is that if you in close proximity with somebody or related to someone, they do not like to ask for your opinion or for your help. I got brothers and I got sister-in-laws and I got nieces and nephews. They will not come to me for any information, and they won't accept it from me. And I'm wondering, what's the, psychologically, I might have a good guess, but I'm curious if Dr. Deb has some input on that, because that right there is one of the worst things we can do. It took me a long time to get to where I am today, and I have information. I have useful information, factual information, not guessing stuff, not suppositions and all that. I got factual, good information that and that's one of the reasons why I came and I'm on the DVP show, because I want to share that with people, make their lives easier, make the pathway easier. But that's one of the things that's puzzled me for a long time.
So Deb, if you're still here, if you can answer that question for him, let me know. We are going to take a quick break, and then we're gonna finish this up. We're gonna roll into the next one. So Mel, do what you do.
Itchy, squirmy, scratchy, family not getting clean? Get Charmin Ultra Strong. Go get 'em. It just cleans better. With a diamond weave texture, your family can use less while still getting clean.
Goodbye, itchy squirm.
Hello, cream bottom.
We all go. Why not enjoy the go with Charmin?
At Hampton Law, our primary goal is to provide non-traditional yet effective solutions and redefine the approach to client legal concerns. As your trusted legal advisor, we believe in sophisticated, personalized services that eliminate the confusion and complexity sometimes associated with legal matters. Our high standard for client care and concern, coupled with our extensive legal knowledge and skills, make Hampton Law a resource focused on the protection of the client's interest and overall goals. We value our clients and truly enjoy working with them. Visit thamptonlaw.com to conveniently schedule an appointment online. Tamika Hampton Esquire, 1631 Rock Springs Road, Suite 336, Apopka, Florida, 407-494-1471. thamptonlaw.com.
Nope. Nope.
Come on, him.
Ooh, I like him.
Quick, the quicker picker-upper. Bounty picks up messes quicker, and each sheet is 2 times more absorbent, so you can use less.
He's an 8.
He's a 9.
Bounty, the quicker picker-upper.
From novice to aficionado, find yourself here. High quality cigars plus personal customer service. Slow Burn is Waco's only mobile cigar lounge, featuring a meticulous, curated collection of premium cigars. Visit our website, www.slowburnwaco.com. That's www.slowburnwaco.com.
Stride K-12 powered schools are ready to put over 20 years of being a leader in online education to work for you. Dive into curriculum design for the online classroom. Team up with state-certified teachers trained in virtual instruction. Take control of your child's education journey. Discover the power of personalized learning with a leader experienced in preparing kids for a future they can be excited about. Take charge. Stride K-12. Enroll now for the fall.
All right, so we're back now. And like I said, I just wanted to finish up. Systems can work for us, but like anything else, we have to learn what they are to make them work for us. It ain't gonna just happen. It ain't gonna just happen. Friendships don't just happen. You go through some things, good, bad, or indifferent, and you decide you like each other or that there's some compatibility. You know, I always say that when me and Mo met, we were disagreeing on something. But he took the time to listen. I listened to what he said. It wasn't that either of us was wrong. We just had a difference of opinion. That's life. But when you can sit down and make it make sense, then the system that you're trying to deal with becomes so much easier because you know it's not, life is just not built on what you think or what you believe is the right way or the only way, because there's a lot of ways to get things done. And sometimes your way is the wrong way. It may be because of who you're dealing with, because of where you're dealing with somebody. You may need to find an alternative route. When there were times that as a cop working in a jail, we would be dealing with an inmate, and you learn this inmate is he ready to fight. We had an older lady, Miss K. I used her for so much. And they were like, why you go get Miss K? This dude, he want to fight. Because this dude loves his mother. So now I got this old lady here coming and talk to him. She can't fight worth shit. But when she say, baby, why you so mad? Guess what he do? All the bass leaving his voice. And he be like, I'm sorry. But the minute he see me, he raised back up. My ego won't let me see to her and win the situation. I want to win it personally. The system is there for me to take advantage of. I have to know how to do it. Sometimes it means backing my little happy black ass up. When I would get certain contracts, I knew who I was meeting with. I would take my mother. My mother's as soft as a pedal. These people in these meetings, they asking her questions. Yo, this motherfucking company, ladies and gentlemen, why don't y'all ask me what I think? But they like, Miss Bell, does the company this? And I'm thinking, hello, CEO, see. But I could be arrogant and make it about me, or I could want to get paid and let them gravitate to the older woman who had a soft side, because to some of them I came off too arrogant or too cocky. Now, I could, man, they ain't want me because this. Who cares why they don't want me? My job is to get them to like me. And if I need to use somebody else, then guess what? We all win. We all win. The system, there are lots of systems that will work for us. We just have to stop being so arrogant and thinking that everybody has to like our way of doing it. That's not going to happen.
And let me just piggyback on that and say, you know, one thing, I'm a victim of this, and maybe DVP will fess up and say he was too. I don't know. But I just tell you this. This is a saying that I go by now. Don't let your desire to be right overpower your ability to take in new information. Because there was a time I was stuck. And I figured I had all the information I needed, right? I ain't need nothing new. And I couldn't have been more wrong. And just allowing myself the freedom to listen to other people, take in new information. And also, you got to have a good filtering system too, because a lot of people put out BS and some people put out good stuff. It's like the news you hear on TV. You gotta filter that properly, so that way you know what you're dealing with.
Yeah. And it ain't, you don't always need to call people on their bullshit. Sometimes the best thing you can do is say nothing. You don't always have to call everybody. Oh, if I'm gonna say something to me, I'm gonna call them out right then. Well, that may end up costing you $200,000-$300,000. That may end up costing you the opportunity of a lifetime because you made an ending for the wrong reason. One of the things that, as Mo was talking about, I had to learn in life, because I grew up in an environment where winning was not only important, it was the most important thing. Every fight ain't worth winning. See, Mo understands this. Mo is happily married. There's a reason that men can be happily married, because they understand rule number one: winning is not the most important thing. Winning is not, because there are times when our wives have been wrong. There have been times we've been wrong. Nobody wins by keep pointing that out. Nobody wins. Sometimes the best thing you can do, you being right. What do you get from saying I was right? What do you get? You get an upset wife. You get somebody who may be holding a grudge. You're sitting there keeping score. Now you can't figure out why you don't have a happy relationship, because you didn't make sure your partner's happy. That's what relationships are about. So as we gravitate over to attachments, and I wonder, we're attached to things. We're attached to things. And there are a lot of things that we have an unhealthy attachment to. I'm supposed to have a healthy attachment with people who are important in our life. See, I don't know. I've never met Mo. I've never met Megan. Guess what? When the show is up, we have a lot of talks off camera about making each other's life better. We don't have to do this. We don't have any true connection with each other where we've ever met. But this is about exchanging information and want everybody else to be a part of something. When I extended this invitation to Mo in Arizona, he don't have to do this. But he likes what I'm doing. I like what he's doing. So bam, here we are. See, we have a healthy attachment. We can disagree. We cannot even be on the same effing page sometimes. And sometimes one of us might say something that's crazy, and all we can do is laugh. But guess what? We got the opportunity to do. We got the opportunity to present our point of view. Because he ain't restricted. I ain't never had nobody on this show who was restricted from saying anything. Say what you want, because this is still your truth. But explain it to people, because there are some things I have no clue about. I'm a businessman in my own right. I'm still a man, and I'm still black. I'm sure that some of Mel's interactions ain't nothing like mine. Nothing like mine. I'm sure some of mine ain't nothing like hers. There are times she's going to win because of who she is. There are times I'm going to win because we can't compare things like that, and we got to stop trying. The attachment that we need to be working with is with people who are trying to do better, and we want to be a part of them trying to do better. Let me give them some good health information, as opposed to being attached to Jada and Will. Jada and Will are still millionaires no matter what you think about them. But some of us are so attached into breaking other people down. We're so attached into saying what a happy relationship is that we ain't in one, so how we give her information? Oh, she couldn't be my woman. Well, she ain't your woman, so, why do you care so much? But you won't put this kind of research into what's going on into your kid's school. You won't put this kind of research into politics. These are things you should be attached to while your streets are all screwed up and your neighborhood is going to shit. You worried about somebody. What I look like being worried about what the temperature is in Arizona if we in the middle of a hurricane here. Other than I want to go there. Our attachment has got to be something better, and it needs to be fruitful for everybody involved. We need to stop attaching ourselves to foolishness and fuckery and being proud of that. I seen every show of Real Housewives. I know someone's What? What the hell is you talking? Man, that woman, I know she. Really? So, I saw a post a couple of days ago where people were talking about I don't know, one of them love and hip hop thing, Kirk and Rashida. I don't know them personally, but I've done security for them. And not lie, I've seen a couple of episodes, and on TV, Kirk looks like the ultimate douchebag. So when I was told I was going to be doing security for them, I watched a couple of shows because I want to know who I was dealing with, because this is the only place I can get information from. So I'm prepared to deal with a douchebag who is not really a good role model. Doesn't really respect his wife. This is what TV shows me. I meet them. I'm watching them interact, because I'm trying to see how to, fit in and still get paid. And Kirk ain't nothing like I see on TV. He's a true gentleman. He did something, and he was like, "Hey, can you stay with my wife while I go get the car?" He always made sure she was good. Always. I'm watching this. This ain't the Kirk I see on TV. And when he's going to get a car, she's talking. She's like, "Yeah, you get more views. They pay you more to be on the show than you do." So these people know this. But I'm hearing people talk about them, and I see somebody make a post, and I ain't here to defend nobody, but they talking about, why don't we talk about Kurt like we talk about R. Kelly? That he met her when she was this age, she adopted him, and yada yada yada. They got all this off TMZ, one of them crazy ass websites. But there's a 7-year difference between them. So how is he like R. Kelly? Did he have somebody locked in cages? What was he doing that would put him in the R. Kelly range? And so I had to go to the thing. Everything's on the web. He's 54, she's 47. So there's a whole 7-year age gap. So unless he started sleeping with her when she was 13 and he was 20, which ain't what happened because they didn't get together until she was 18 or 19. How are these the same? Did you do the research? Oh, nah, I seen it somewhere else, so I just shared it. So you're attached to something that has no bearing on your life, and you're willing to pass on misinformation. This is the insane part when we start getting these attachments, because we don't attach ourselves to things that will make our life better. We don't attach ourselves to melodic getaways. Because let me tell you something, going on vacations it eases your mind. It gives you something different. If y'all don't do nothing else, I'm gonna tell you something that eases your mind that you can save up a couple of weeks and afford to do. Just going to stay at a hotel for a night or two. When you ain't got to make up the bed and worry about all the other little stresses, just go to the hotel and get away for a day or two. See how peaceful that is. Because you ain't got to get up. You ain't got to be worried about all this. It's just a relaxing thing. Attach yourself to that. Mo got a stock market group where he talks about making money. He talks about how to invest in stocks. Go in there and do that. See, now you're looking at, man, how can I make more money? This ain't for us. Attachments. There was a car wreck the other day. A stuntman who was in one of the Black Panther movies died. Kids died. They got a GoFundMe going. Attachments. So this guy was a stuntman in Hollywood, and they don't have insurance. Mindless Chaos was on the show last week. Well, he was in the comment section. His mother would not get insurance because she thought it would quicken her death. And when I started our show, we're so into ourselves, we don't care about the future. The future is our kids. The future is who's coming up next. We want to get paid now. We don't really care what happens to them. And you look at a lot of people. I asked Bobby about one of the people he talked about. When you look at most millionaires, most of them didn't start with nothing. They started off with an inheritance. Now, whether that inheritance or the inheritance before that, they started off with a life insurance policy. Lil Wayne, life insurance policy. Not Lil Wayne. What's the rapper name? Master P, life insurance policy. Lots of people have started off with a great head start. How different a life would we have if our parents or grandparents left us $50,000, $100,000, $200,000? How much different would life have been? We wouldn't have some of the same struggles. So guess what? Some people will be just like you are. They wouldn't know what we talk about because they didn't start off at the very bottom because somebody was selfish. They didn't start off at the very bottom, have to wade through a bunch of shit. They didn't have to go to the schools or eat fucking canned tuna So we don't want to attach ourselves to healthy things. We like attaching ourselves to things that bring on more strife. While I'm worried about the crazy shit Mo and Gina going through, I'm ignoring DVP and Trina because I'm so infatuated. Oh, look at Mo, he doing crazy shit. All while I'm ignoring Trina. Because I ain't attached to Trina. This is what we got to be attached to. And Bible says, are intelligent people more emotional? Bobby, everybody's emotional. And I hate when people try to say that men are logical and women are emotional. Everybody is emotional. And you know, it's funny, not you, but I had a guy who wanted to argue me with this point. And I told him, simply tell me who you see fighting more. What's the logic in fighting? There is none. It is emotion driven, but we swear that women are more emotional. How many women do we know that have fought because somebody stepped on their shoes? How many women fight because somebody spills a drink on them? That's a male thing. What's intelligent about that? But to answer your question, I think intelligent people understand their emotion. See, intelligent people don't make investments off emotion. Mo talked about that in one of his things. Look at the stock market. It's gonna dip. It's gonna dip this time. This is the right time to buy when things are going down. So when they come up, you ain't caught on the roller coaster. But a lot of people we want to buy stocks on the way up. That's emotional because we see it going up. But when you could have got it when it was 30 cents, oh, you ain't like it because it was too low. But at 30 cents, now that it costs $20, you just made $19. But when you buy it at $20, you're only gonna make 85 cents because it's gonna peak out at $20.85. And we have to understand it and understand when emotion is good for us. When emotion is good for us, so that we can control it. Because there are times emotion is the best thing going. But if you don't know this, you think you're logical when you're making dumb decisions because your emotions tell you, oh, if I do that, that's emotional.
Yeah, let me co-sign something here or just clarify something because I actually had my wife actually helped me with this. So this is why I really like the women point of view, but she clarified this to me and I had to think about it, but it makes sense. Just keep in mind, folks, anger and hate, guess what those are? Those are emotions. All right.
Strongest.
So they're emotions, folks. So when you say a woman is emotional and you are a dude that gets angry and you hate people and you get upset, those are emotions. So let's keep it in check. You know what I'm saying? Just that's the reality of the whole situation.
So Bobby, yeah, you have to know the difference. See, emotion will not make you sell a product to somebody because you don't want them to have it. Logic gonna say get that money. Logic say get that money. Now, if they're gonna use your product for something evil, then logic is gonna tell you don't let them use your product. Emotion is gonna tell you to get that money. See, the answer can be the same, but one decision is emotional based, the other one is intelligent based, and this is where we have to start understanding. And men don't like to admit they're emotional. Men will sit back and men, and I'm gonna pick on us for a minute. Men are ignorant. Men think that emotion means crying. I do believe that women cry more. I do, but that doesn't mean they're emotional because if we sit back and think about it, if we sit back and have an honest sit down with ourselves, when we're frustrated, we shake or we cry. It ain't because we're sad. Sometimes tears is just an automatic response. That's a physical response. It has nothing to do with emotion. You're trying to calm yourself down. You realize you can't hit something or you can't do something. Sometimes we cry because there's nothing that we can do. It's an emotional response to trying to figure out a logical situation to which there is none.
And let me supplement that and just say that, yeah, probably women can cry, they can cry easier for the most part, right? But that just means that they can decompress better. How do men decompress? I can tell you some examples. We smack walls, punch holes in walls, kick doors down, all kind of stuff like that. That's part of the decompression process. But you don't see no women doing that. They don't be doing all kind of crazy stuff like that. So it's just a different process for decompression. But they have to decompress and they have their way of doing it, and we decompress and we have our way of doing it.
And that's what makes it easy for them to move on a little bit quicker because they can go on and cry and get it out their system.
Yep.
They don't have the breakdowns and the shutdowns that we do because we hold so much in because we don't want to appear emotional, but it's a release. When attachments, when you can accept that the fact that you need to cry for certain things, you release a lot of toxins out of your body. See, and I don't think we understand because we don't do the research to understand. Most of the toxins that we have in our body are released through water, whether it's sweat, whether it's tears. Because if you ever tasted your tear, it tastes just like sweat. They're both salty because that's what we are. But we're releasing stuff. This releases us and allows us to move on. So there are times that we have to be cognizant of this. So who makes the better decisions? The person that makes the better decisions is the person who is true to themselves and doesn't have to try to front for everybody else. Yeah, nobody should just be standing around crying at the bus stop. There are places for everything. But we all, Mo, do you think you really know anybody who has never been sad for whatever reason? Whether it's because you lost somebody, whether it's because you hit your damn toe, whatever. We're all sad at some point about something.
Yeah, I think that, you can't take sadness and put it in a box and say this is what sad looks like for everybody. So I think everybody at some point has been sad for one thing or another. Whether I'm gonna just throw some stuff out there because some people have these experiences, whether they lost a child, whether they lost a parent, lost a or lost something of value to them. I think everybody has at least had the opportunity to be sad, whether they cried or they didn't cry. That's another story, but I'm sure a lot of us had that opportunity to be sad about something.
Mo, did you play sports?
Basketball and football.
Were y'all ever really good?
No.
Okay, so you've seen sports. Have we not seen grown men cry losing championships?
Oh yeah.
Why are they crying? That's an emotional moment. And when I tried to bring this to the guy, that you see men crying all the time. Let's be logical. It's just a fucking game. So why do grown men break down and cry at a game?
Yeah.
Because they're emotional, but we're so insecure we can't admit that we're emotional. But if you've ever played sports at a high level or with a great team, losing hurts. It hurts. There's no reason a game. It's a game. What hurt you about this damn game? Why is it, and it's fun somebody pointed this out, and I don't know if Mo did it, he gonna be like me, he gonna deny it. But Mo, when you got married, did y'all have a wedding or did y'all do it at the Just of the Peace?
We did a wedding.
Did you while you were in the middle of it for no unknown reason, did you feel like somebody came by you and just stuck some onions under your nose and all of a sudden you felt some moisture? It's like, what the heck? I know I can't be, because we ain't sobbing, but what the hell is that? Did you into that?
Well, look, I'll be honest, man. I didn't cry, but let me just tell you this. I was with my father-in-law, my potential father-in-law, minutes before the wedding, and we had some hard shots, baby. So I was good. I wasn't feeling no pain. I wasn't scared of nothing. So nah, man, it didn't happen for me.
Marcus Denard, what's going on with you? But yeah, when we get attachments, man, we got to start making solid attachments and sometimes they hurt, but we got to attach ourselves to things that can better our lives. I know sometimes, and I'm going to pick on Mel because she back there doing her thing, but sometimes she probably don't want to hear what me and Mo telling her, but you know what? She sit there and listen. And that's what this is about, because once you realize people aren't trying to hurt you, you listen. Marcus Denard, one of my favorite people. He took care of some things for me. He was a trainee of mine, and he was like, "Hey man, come teach us this." He never had the big head. He got promoted over me. He a major now, but he'll still say, "Hey Bill, can you come do this?" Because he understands that in our relationship, there's some things that I'm actually pretty good at, and there's some times when I need something from him, and I'll reach out and say, "Hey Marcus, I need this." See, these are healthy attachments. These are what make our life better. These are things that, in my mind, we need to do better at cultivating. That means that it's okay to have an emotion. It's okay to accept that, but we have to get that attachment as opposed to being worried about so many things that have no effect on our life. Somebody got mad at me when I said, I don't care how you feel about it. I refuse to support any GoFundMe because life insurance is too cheap. And we live in a state of denial that You don't understand that if you have a child, you have insurance, it costs you less than $5 a month to add your child as a rider. But they ain't gonna need insurance till they this age, till they grown. And then all of a sudden, I had 2 friends who lost their child in a wreck. They got good jobs, but they didn't have no insurance on them. They got insurance on themselves, but not the child. An average burial starts at about $10,000. Who got that kind of money sitting around? A lot of us, if we're being honest, don't even have that much left on a credit card. So now you got to try to fund a funeral. And I'm just thinking, some of the worst things in life is to have to put a funeral on a credit card because you want something that should have been taken care of. It's already traumatized enough to have to bury a loved one. But now you got to sit there and find money because you don't want to spend $5 a month. So when we're doing this, you have to attach yourselves to something that will make you better and greater than you normally are or that you want to be.
And sorry about that, DVP. Before we go by this point, though, I just want to point out that, I don't do GoFundMe's. I'm gonna tell you why, though. For the most part, I don't do them because I have personal experience with someone who lost a child and they received money to, for support. And they chose to spend that money otherwise than using it to help the child. So maybe I'm traumatized, maybe it's my own trauma, but after seeing that, it taught me a lot. It's like, maybe you don't give cash to people. Maybe you help them with things. Maybe you help them, you put money towards the casket or something, or help buy the casket or whatever it is. But just GoFundMe, you don't know what's gonna happen with that money. And I know some people will probably watch the program and say, man, that's not cool. That's not right. But you got to know the nature of people before you start giving them your money and saying, here, I want to help out, because I've been in spaces to help people, and my intentions got turned into something that was not appreciated at all.
And Bobby, one of the things you say is there are times when emotions, because sometimes I think we talked last week about instincts or intuition. Sometimes you do things on a hunch. There's nothing logical about it. It's a feeling. And we have to trust those. And we have to know when we're there. Is that hunch? Is it logic? Is it illogical, emotional? It falls under neither. It's a feeling. And even though feelings are emotional, we're not talking about something that makes you feel a certain way. It's just the hair on your back, or you get a good vibe for somebody. That's how a lot of us pick friends, based off an emotional connection of some sort. It's, we'll talk to some people because they're intelligent, but when we start picking friends, most of our friends ain't based on intelligence. It's based on how we feel around them. And when you're too smart, they have a tendency, people who are too smart are easily fooled because they don't have any street sense. They looking at everything like this, and it doesn't work like that, because life is about hunches. It's like somebody said, it's why you don't see mathematicians, who are some of the smartest people on the planet, why don't they win at Vegas? Because even though they've got all these things down pat, gambling is still a feeling kind of thing. Logic says you ain't gonna beat the house, but some people do. But most of them ain't mathematicians. Most of them are people who got lucky and played hunches. So it's a fine line, but to be there. I think intelligent people, like I said, I think intelligent people are, I ain't gonna say more emotional, they're more in touch with their emotions, so they know how to control them. See, there are certain times when things are going wrong that we have to tap into our alter ego. I think intelligent people are probably a little bit more in touch with their alter ego, because they still need to get that emotion out. They just know this ain't the time or the place.
So
go ahead.
I was going to add to that and say, so my opinion on that is a little bit different, and it's because intelligence for me does not dictate common sense or the fact that you're going to do the right thing. I've seen a lot of dumb, smart people out there. And so, I've seen a lot of smart people do some dumb things emotionally that got them in trouble. I mean, it's everywhere. I mean, you could just open a paper and you'll see it. You know, the professor or something did something stupid, or a student or something like that. So I think the intelligence helps, but you still can be impacted by just doing something stupid, just plain dumb, not thinking about it.
And it may seem smart, but I'm a Trekkie. And one of the things Spock said in one of the shows I always remember, he said there's a certain amount of logic to illogical things because everything won't always make sense. And it's like, you know, that is a hell of a statement, because sometimes we want everything to make sense when sometimes it just ain't possible. It's just not possible. And we have to accept that. And it's not emotion, it's just not logic. Unless you accept the logical fact that illogic is logic.
Yeah,
because go ahead.
I was just gonna say, man, because you know, me and you married, DVP, and you know, if you just go with logic all the time, that ain't gonna help you in your marriage. You're gonna be in trouble.
It ain't gonna help you in life.
Yeah, it ain't gonna help you in life either.
Yeah. And you know, so when we get these attachments, we need to start paying more attention to what we attach ourselves to. And it's like, you know, somebody asked me one time, and I intentionally posted because everybody said, man, there's so much negativity here. There's so much negativity there. Why do you attach yourself to it? I've unfollowed people. I have gone out of my way. And I'm going to do it again. I had tagged people and dared them to post positive things for 7 days. Because, see, you got to start somewhere. So you control your Facebook feed. I don't care what the algorithm does, because you can unfollow people. You can snooze them for 30 days. You can unfriend them. There's no algorithm that'll work around that. So if you're seeing things from certain people that's always negative, always degrading, always putting you in a foul mood, because social media is now one of the leading causes of depression. Social media, if you got kids, understand that social media is the leading cause of depression for a lot of kids. So parents, monitor your kids' social media. There's a lot of bullying going on. There's a lot of negativity going on. But as we're grown, you get to make choices. You ain't got to put up with crazy shit all the time. Delete, unfollow, unfriend. I see so many attachments. I see so many dudes who grew up without a father, who always want to dog women who grew up without a father. So most of us come from single parent homes. Study says. So for the men who came from single parent homes, who taught them how to treat a lady? There was no man there. Who taught them how to be a man? There was no man there. But these same dudes love to tell women, you don't know what this is like because you didn't grow up with a daddy. Well, and I said, that's cute, but what does growing up with a daddy have to do with a relationship? Because the daddy, in theory, was truly her superior. He was there to take care of her, nothing else. When she gets in a relationship to me, we're not going to have the same relationship. There's some carnal things that I want that her dad should have never wanted. But my question is, who taught you to hate women if you grew up with a single mother? But these are the things that we don't want to talk about because we get so attached. We get so attached with trying to degrade women to get them to lower their standards. Our attachment, it seems, because I had to unfollow a lot of people recently. Why don't women do this? Why are you dating this woman? Why are you attaching yourself to a woman who doesn't meet your standards? Why are you attaching yourself to a woman whose standards that you don't meet? What's your fascination with this person? What's your fascination? Why do you feel the need to say, oh, women need to do this? Women, we'll find one that does that. They're everywhere. But you don't like none of them. So you're going to make somebody be something, and then when she turns out to be, you're going to do the same thing I fuss at women about. You trying to make her be something that she can't maintain. She tricked me. No, she didn't trick you. You saw what you wanted to say. Same thing I tell the women. He didn't trick you. You saw what you wanted to say. You told him to do this. He did it when you were around. As soon as you turned back, he went to being who he was. Fellas, they doing the same thing. But why do you feel the need to attach yourself to a woman who ain't for you? If a woman says she slept with 31 dudes, if that bothers you, why are you still dealing with her? Walk on by. Life is just that simple. Life is just, Mo on Facebook. I'm sure Mo see posts that he send me. He keep on scrolling. He ain't got to say shit. For what?
Nah.
He likes some of my posts. Some he don't. Hell, who knows if he sees? Ain't my business. I don't call Mo and say, hey Mo, go to this post and comment. Mel don't like some of my posts, share some she don't see. If you see something you don't like, how do you let something that you don't like? If you can't change it, how do you let it? How do you attach yourself to it and let it put you in a foul mood?
That's a quest. That's a quest for control. You know, you want to make everything how you want it, and that's just that's not something that's even possible in this world. There's so many things and variations and things you can't control, especially in a little space. You know, when you're in your little space, it's like, how much of this can I control? You know what I mean? And so I think that's what a lot of people fight with.
And it's just something that we got to learn to control. You on social media. You have 100% control over who you interact with. On social media, you have 100% control over who you respond to. So for you to come here and let social media put you on a foul mood says you have no control over yourself. It tells you a lot when we talk about introspection. Attach yourself to things that, if you don't like them, because there are lots of things I don't like, but they were educational and beneficial in the long run. So I paid attention. But if something got me riled up and was going to change my mood, to make me be disrespectful to my wife, to make me be an asshole at work, I just let it go, move to something else. But Mo talked about it earlier. Sometimes we feel the need. Sometimes the will to win is so strong that we'll burn down the house in order to win a fight. We'll tear up everything, just say I won. But now I'm in a foul mood. Now I done got fired. Now don't nobody want to talk to me because in order to win this fight, I burned everything. I don't care. I'm going to prove this. Now you ain't got shit. You ain't got shit. But you got that W. And that was the most important thing, winning, getting that W. But it left you alone. It left you alone. I had a point to prove. Bobby, who says that more, do you think? Men or women? I got a point to prove. I think men say it more. Women have learned that our fragile male egos makes us respond with violence. They don't want to fight with us. Like, they don't want to have a physical fight. I think they will talk a little bit more to guys that they think will engage in conversation without calling them bitches and dummies. And I think they are a little bit more, but it's because they want to learn. They want you to come with facts. So when they get them, oh yeah, they feel energized. That's my opinion. Because most of them ain't disrespectful when they saying stuff. They ain't saying dummy or stuff. Every time I get them smart ass comments, it's from dudes. When I see it with Trent, it's from dudes. Women take to learning. Like I said, they might not like it. They don't keep asking you questions. But notice they keep asking you questions. They want you to prove your point so that they can follow along with it. Because they ain't just going to buy into bullshit. You know, I had a guy who wanted to argue with me about who was more emotional. When I pointed out sports to him, that's just, well, if men dominate sports, and there are more men in the NFL than there are women in the NFL, clearly. There are more men in the NBA than there are women in the NBA. So who's crying more? Clearly, we see these men crying all the time. We don't even watch female sports. So how can you say the men aren't emotional? Oh, that's just men who play sports. Well, look at the weddings. Men are crying now. Are they emotional? Are they sensitive? Of course they are, but everybody's crying or doing whatever. So men are just as emotional.
And let me just piggyback on that, because I want to, you know, I wish Dr. Deb was here, because there's some dysfunctional thinking in our culture. Because why would it be a good thing if a man is not emotional? Why is that a good thing? You know, why you try to make it seem like women are more emotional than men? You should be emotional. If you're a dude, you should be emotional. You know what I'm saying? If you got a family, you got people that care about you. If you care about people, you know, there's should be emotions attached to your social circle, the people that are near and dear to you. You know, why would you want to go through life emotionless? I mean, there's a time and place for everything. So you gotta have duality. or multiplicity, whatever it is. You know what I mean? Because look, I respect people who work in prisons, right? Because they got to go work in a prison with violent criminals. Then they got to go home to their wife and their kids. They can't be the same person, because if they are, they're going to lose in one of those places. You got to be a different person in those different spaces. If you want your thing to work, because everybody ain't gonna conform to, living with if you're a wife and you got a kid there, they don't want to live with no prison guard. They want to live with the guy who's a prison guard when he goes to work, but when he comes home, he's a dad. You know what I mean? So you gotta have that duality. So you can't always be a non-emotional type of person. I learned that a long time ago. It ain't gonna get you nowhere anyway.
It won't. Yeah. And we gotta learn we gotta learn to deal with duality. It's okay to be emotional, but we gotta learn to get them in check. We have to learn to get them in check.
Yep.
It is it's 5 to the hour. Mo, you got some parting words for us, brother?
Yeah, I mean, this was a good show, man. I just wish I can't really speak for the people that's around our age, because they're hard to bend. They probably stuck in their ways, but maybe the younger generation, there's a lot of information, tips and tricks that we can bestow to you, we can give to you. We can say, look, we already been through that. Here's our experience. You take that information and you do whatever you want to do with it. And even older people, I see my mother-in-law was at least 20 years older than me, and I talked to her sometime, and I just saw her change. I seen the metamorphosis within her, and it wasn't me preaching to her. We just had conversations, but that's what this is all about. Come here, have a conversation, learn some new things, and keep your mind open. Keep your mind open.
And on that note, I'm gonna just say, keep your mind open. Find things that you can attach yourself to that will make your life better. Find systems that you can support. If you don't support them, figure out why. We can't keep saying either you part of the problem or you part of the solution and not acting. If you make life better for your brother, your life automatically becomes better. That's just my theory. The more people that you help, the more people who are inclined to help you along the way. So we got to start doing better. We got to start accepting, criticism and critiques for what they are. Even if we don't like them, ask yourself one question after you hear it and somebody upsets you. Was any of it possibly true? When they told you your business model sucked, when they told you something bad, was it possible that anything they said was true? Because sometimes we know factually the truth hurts. So, because if they tell you something that ain't true, why even get frustrated by it? Why even give them a second? Oh, you just trying to do? Why? Why? If it ain't true, let it roll off your back. Let it roll off your back. Who cares? Unless they can make you better. So we got to do better. We got to find systems that we can enhance for us. We got to become a little bit more educated. We got to become a lot bit more educated. We keep saying knowledge is free, but to get this free knowledge, you got to work for it. The work ain't free and it ain't easy. And sometimes the shit we learn is so frustrating and deflating. And as Bible said, we get black fatigue, but this no struggle is easy. For us to get to the top, we're going to have to get dirty. We're going to have to realize there are going to be some down days. That's emotional. But we got to be intelligent enough to know that sometimes just take a nap, refresh, and get back to it. We can't give up. We can't stop. And we can't let them win simply because we don't want to do nothing. Or I'm tired, I done did all I can. Okay, well, pass the baton to somebody. Get your team, start recruiting people who can help you. I recruited Mo. You don't have to do this by yourself. You don't. And lots of help is out there. There are people who love to share what they know. They just want to find a listening audience. That's all. So with that being said, because I don't know what just happened, but y'all know what it is. It's that time. So peace, popcorn, and chicken grease, and we out.